If my thumbnail picture seems a bit odd, just hang in there. It should become clear as this video progresses. As anyone who watches my channel knows, while I do go after people who lie about others, I also object to the practice of making negative assumptions and acting like they are factual. I've even objected to many assumptions made in my own comment section about people I've criticized myself for other reasons. I'm not against all assumptions. For example, if I meet someone and they tell me about their lives, normally I'll assume they are, at least essentially, telling the truth. If they claim to be something that is quite unlikely, I'll reserve judgment, neither believing nor disbelieving them, but maybe having doubts. An example would be someone who claims he was once a Navy SEAL. Not many of them, so few people will meet one, but I wouldn't say they are lying unless I know they are. An example I used in the past would be if a short guy claims to have played in the NBA, unless his name is Muggsy Bogues. That isn't very believable. Besides, in a case like that, it wouldn't be hard to research it and know for sure if he played in the NBA. And assuming someone is telling the truth doesn't mean I'll risk anything. Let a stranger talk about how successful he has been in business, and I'm still not going to agree to invest thousands of dollars on some business venture with him without a lot more backup for his claim. Assuming the best doesn't mean I take on risks. So making positive assumptions are usually okay. There are also assumptions that are neither positive nor negative, and they can be fine too. Two factors are required. One is that the person presents it as an assumption, not fact. That way you aren't misleading people. The other is that if the assumption turns out to be wrong, no one got hurt by the assumption. Like if you say, I assume my husband went to the store, but then it turns out he was really helping a friend to fix his car. The assumption was wrong, but didn't hurt anyone's reputation. Then we have the critical negative assumptions. Sometimes they can be okay as well, as long as you're only presenting it as an assumption rather than fact. And you've got to have some serious information that shows it is a reasonable assumption, not just a possibility and not just some feeling. A reasonable assumption does not include something like, I could tell by the tone of their voice and their body language what they really meant. That's just an excuse to make things up. I see many people in my comment section, even people I think are clear thinkers, who sometimes assume too much, in my opinion. Good people often screw up on judgment, especially if they are already ticked off at someone for good reasons, or have believed certain things for a long time and will have a hard time reversing such long-held opinions. I have noticed that even when a person deserves criticism, sometimes people just pile on with stuff they can't back up, as if lots of quantity makes up for a lack of substance. I've even seen normally nice people do this. I like to give real examples, but I know that even when I'm only disagreeing with one specific thing, rather than attacking someone, it is easy to misinterpret, no matter how hard I try to explain things. But I'll try anyway. So, with all due respect, I decided to cover one recent example. It comes from a live stream which involved Coach Eli. I'm not familiar with his channel, so, like another video I did not long ago, this is only about this single thing I disagree with. I think he made a big mistake on this one element, so allow me to explain the problem as I see it. I've certainly made similar mistakes in the past myself, though I try hard not to do it anymore. Eli was talking about the Filipina P. Since I've seen all her videos, I was quite surprised when he said P is a sellout, based on the claim that she exploits the weak beta male market.
Yeah, no disrespect to RJ, but I think she's a sellout. She's a sellout because she's exploiting a weak market, the weak beta males.
Before moving on, I would point out that we have something that could use clarification. What does Eli mean by the weak beta male market? Is he talking about beta men in general, or is he taking a subgroup of beta males that is particularly weak? I have no idea. I do know a lot of people tend to put beta males down in general as being weak, but that doesn't mean Eli is doing that. If he is speaking about beta males in general, I would point out that the vast majority of men are, pretty much by definition, beta males. Only a small minority are alphas.
I believe anyone that does what she does is exploiting a very weak market of men, and there's a lot of them nowadays. It's the thirsty beta male market.
This is another problem about definitions. Are thirsty beta males the same as weak beta males? Again, I don't know, but in this case, I suspect they probably are. More important was his statement of, anyone who does what she does is exploiting weak men. Why is it important? Because he hasn't yet explained what she does that is a problem. He then goes on to how these men react to P.
Whenever someone like, the Filipina P, she's cute, she looks all right, she's cute. Whenever someone like that comes around, they get enamored, and then they go and they support her, and then they go to her live streams or watch her videos, and then they throw her a lot of money, thinking that that's the way to her heart.
So it sounds like it just comes down to her being cute, and thus weak beta males are enamored by her, watch her live streams, except she doesn't do live streams, and sends her lots of money to get her interested in them. He made lots of assumptions there. No one knows how many of her supporters are weak, nor do they know who may be thinking of getting a romantic connection with her. We can certainly see some people in the comments who may flirt, but how many are serious and how many are just playing around? There is no way to tell, but lots of people are making assumptions about them. Nor does anyone know how much money she gets or from who, though it isn't hard to find people who pretend to know and make huge claims. There are other problems with this. If the argument is that it is because she is cute, what about all the cute vloggers out there who don't get the big numbers? Even some who really make it a point to emphasize sexual aspects in every video are often not very successful. Seems other things must be pretty important.
She's doing that for business, and she knows that market is there and ripe for the taking.
See the problem? She's doing it for business. But what is it? So far, it seems it is being cute. No doubt that's helpful. But what is she supposed to do? Deliberately dress and use makeup to look ugly? There's literally nothing wrong with an attractive person looking attractive.
So to me, look, can most men go out there that are extremely attractive, extremely attractive, and do what women are doing like that on the flip side? Is there a thirsty group of beta females out there? There really isn't,
Fine. Men will be more likely to watch an attractive female, partly because she is attractive, while women won't watch a man's channel as much just because he is attractive. So what? That's human nature, not P's fault and not her responsibility. No selling out is occurring. I've heard plenty of male vloggers complain about how it is easier for a woman to get views. A classic example is from Jay Hidoshi, who said in one of his videos something like, "I just can't get in front of a camera and shake my whatever and get views." And let me tell you, thank God he doesn't. Jay obviously didn't like the fact that it is usually easier for women, but it doesn't matter. There are plenty of things where men have an advantage, yet somehow men don't mind that. There are also some male vloggers who have huge channels, so this isn't an automatic thing. Besides, I suspect if you compare older men and older women who have YouTube channels, the men may well have the advantage. If so, it means women only have a limited window where they have any advantage, and after that, it is the men that do. Just do your thing and forget about what advantage someone else has, which aren't even their fault. I know it would be better for my channel to show my face, but I also know that I have to make so many cuts because of my speaking issues that it would look worse to see the video with so many cuts. Audio cuts are easy to hide, so I live with my limitation. Is this ultimately what is behind Eli's comments? Annoyance at an advantage young attractive women have? I don't know, but my suggestion would be that he think about the possibility. Meanwhile, let's continue following the reasoning he uses. So far, it seems the sellout claim is based on P being cute, and that attracts men, especially weak men. Exactly how is that selling out? And remember, he referred to what she does, but nothing has been shown yet about what that refers to. A sellout is a person who compromises their personal values and integrity for money or personal advantage, or a person who betrays a cause. Making money itself doesn't make anyone a sellout. You have to show that betrayal or compromise thing, and I'm not seeing it. Does P go around saying Filipino vloggers should hide their attractiveness, thus by not doing that herself, she is selling out? Nope, no compromising of values is going on.
So That's why I think women that do that are exploiting a weakness in men.
Women that do that? What is that? Being attractive? I wouldn't think much of a woman who didn't try to look attractive, and if someone is naturally attractive, so much the better.
Now, is that her fault? In this case, I would say probably no. It's the fault of these beta males. But do I consider it selling out? Yes, because that's not what kind of content is that. What kind of content is, exploiting a beta male market.
He says it probably isn't her fault and is the fault of the beta males. Yet Eli still calls it selling out and says, what kind of content is that? Again, what does that refer to? So far, it is still all about her being cute. So what if beta males are attracted? That simply isn't her responsibility as long as she puts out good content. Just as it isn't the responsibility of a famous male singer who is both talented and good looking, causing some women to follow them from concert to concert. Is a beautiful actress supposed to hide her beauty and do a bad job of acting so men won't be attracted? Of course not. Any blame, if it even exists, is entirely on the people who use poor judgment. I don't see any selling out going on, and nothing Eli has said shows it. The only specific thing he has mentioned is that P is attractive. While I definitely think he doesn't have a good reason for his opinion, I don't think he was just trying to be nasty, unlike most of the people I've done videos about. Usually nasty people throw out as many childish, made-up attacks as they can, accusing, especially a Filipina, of being unattractive, or claiming the Filipina's channel is run by a Western man, etc. Eli didn't do any of that. It's just this one thing I don't think he thought through carefully. Crazy Kid then pointed out what her channel was about. Note Eli's response.
Her channel is about the differences between the Filipino culture and Western culture.
Sure, but who is her target audience? What a lot of her videos are basically targeting thirsty beta males because they're paying her money, they're viewing her stuff, and they're donating to her.
Her main target market is Western men who may want to visit or move to the Philippines. That some are weak men isn't a reflection on P at all. Different kinds of men will be visiting. Her target is anyone who is at least thinking about it. She isn't singling out weak men. I suspect even some Western women watch because they plan on visiting too, but it seems that more men have that intention, but both benefit from her information. Meanwhile, no one knows who is sending her money, but since alpha males are a tiny portion of the population, most would have to be beta males. That's just math, not P's fault.
But technically is that wrong? She's giving information for views. She's giving quality information for views.
Sure, it's not illegal and it's not wrong. I think it creates a morality issue of exploiting a weakness in men for money. I think exploiting anything for money is wrong.
So when asked about the fact that she does quality videos, his response was, it's not illegal and it's not wrong. I think it creates a morality issue, exploiting a weakness in men for money. It's not illegal or wrong, but it is a morality issue for something that isn't her fault? Exploiting doesn't apply. It isn't like P is giving some sob story and asking for money. In fact, she does pretty much the opposite, emphasizing that her content is free, telling people not to send her money for her charity work, rarely even mentioning her Patreon channel, and even less her PayPal account. You have to not only go to the video description to see them, you have to also click more to see them. This is not what people do if trying to exploit others. It wouldn't even be exploitation if she mentioned them on every video. Crazy Kid again puts things in perspective.
The same argument could be made for any woman on social media, because there are straight men out there who will just watch the video to see if something falls out of the clothing.
Sure, she's not the only one that's exploiting this. Like there are a ton of women that are exploiting this. I've talked about OnlyFans. I mean, do women really want to go out there and exploit themselves for money through a site like OnlyFans, or do they do it because they know it is the easiest and fastest way to make money that they wouldn't make otherwise in most cases.
But Eli compares it to OnlyFans. They are not remotely the same thing. He also compared it was the easiest and fastest way to make money. OnlyFans may be, but the quality videos P puts out are not the easiest way at all. They are exceptionally difficult. I could make an issue about those who usually do live streams. People I've talked to have told me they're the easiest videos to do and tend to bring in the most money. As long as they can talk comfortably, something I can't do, they're easy. Likewise, people who do videos that are essentially diaries of their day are much easier than what P does. But the fact is, there are lots of people who like or even prefer those things. So I don't make an issue of people doing easy things. They're doing what their supporters prefer. Nothing wrong with that. Being relatively easy is just a fortunate benefit for those other kinds of videos. Crazy Kid talks about the quality of her channel and topics and the hard work it requires.
Everything that she does on her channel is researched, and everything she makes sure that it's 100% factual. So she's actually doing a lot of work to create the content that she's creating. Whereas you get, like the OnlyFans, which is quick and easy, they're just, using their visual self to draw in the money.
But Eli skips over all those facts and makes what I think is a meaningless issue. At least meaningless for supporting a claim that P is a sellout.
But do you think if she wasn't the cute young Filipina chick that she would be getting the clicks she's getting, despite the fact that a lot of her content, is research and it's not bad content, but she is heavily supported by thirsty beta males, as are a lot of women, despite what they do, because of their looks.
Once again, it all seems to come down to P being attractive, especially when he seems fine with the content. It also doesn't matter if she is heavily supported by thirsty beta males. There's no way to measure how much is from those people, and even if that is all she has, how is she exploiting them? Since when does the existence of thirsty beta males mean a pretty woman is selling out? It just makes no sense to me, unless it just comes back to the issue that young pretty women have an advantage and some men don't like that. If measured between alpha and beta, most men by far are betas. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe I need to do a video about that nonsense. The thing is, if you try to only attract alpha males, you will have a very tiny audience. Every channel has beta males. Even men's channels are supported by men who are mostly beta males. Maybe he's referring to a subgroup, the thirsty ones. But once again, he has no way to know who most of these people are. It's just a convenient assumption. More logic from Crazy Kid.
She could be supported by thirsty beta males. She could also be supported by, intelligent alpha males. It doesn't matter. If you're just going to go off of visuals, men are going to find women more attractive than men 95% of the time. Women will watch other women's channels, where a lot of men won't watch other men's channels. They would rather look at a woman. So are women really, can we really put that as a bar for selling out?
His most important point was that men are just acting like men, and you really can't make an issue of a woman selling out just because she is attractive. But Crazy Kid makes another point.
So if you black out the screen, okay, is the Filipina P's channel a sellout? If it was Filipina P Radio.
If it was Filipina P Radio, I don't think she'd be getting the views or attention she's getting. Not as much.
So Crazy Kid removed the issue of P's attractiveness from the equation. All that is left is the basic information. Eli said she wouldn't get as many views, but, as we will see, that wasn't because people couldn't see how cute she was. But it isn't about numbers of viewers. You can be a sellout and have very few views. You can be perfectly ethical and have a huge channel. So far we have attractiveness and how many subs as the basis for claiming she is a sellout. Neither one holds up. Eli said she wouldn't get as much attention. Of course she wouldn't. because in most societies today, radio personalities simply don't get as much attention. Let's see how Eli makes this very point after a setup by Crazy Kid, who again talks about her varied content.
She gives you that balance of information, which is why I think even if it was just Filipina P radio, I think she would still have a strong following.
Ooh, I mean, I respect your opinion. I think the complete opposite. I like radio myself, but I honestly think that radio does not get the attention for men or women that video gets nowadays.
As you heard, Eli said the same thing I did. Radio just doesn't normally draw as many people as video channels do. But Eli's whole case was based on P being cute and a bit about having lots of subscribers. Neither one determines whether someone is a sellout. Crazy Kid's question was essentially about doing the same topics but without seeing her, to make this very point. I don't see any counter-argument in any of what Eli says that shows P being a sellout, other than she is cute and is popular. But neither of those makes someone a sellout. I can't be sure what is causing Eli to think those things matter, but it does fit the pattern of male vloggers not being happy when attractive young women have an advantage. And when people aren't happy about something, it is very easy to make poor arguments as part of their complaint. Even if the argument, which was never made, is that she sometimes wears sexy outfits in her outros, so what? It might get her more attention, but it's no different than going to a car show and seeing gorgeous models. They may well attract you over to the car, but you sure aren't going to buy the car just because you like the gorgeous model. I suspect most people are like me, in that they find an outro to be sexy, but we really like them because they're so clever and funny. Even the ones which aren't sexy are clever and funny. Their appearance is just a bonus. And again, using the definition for sellout, what did she do that sold out anything? I just suggest people be a bit more cautious before they criticize others. It's easy to mess up. I've done it many times myself, but there were enough times when I ended up being completely wrong that I try to be much more careful now. Thanks for watching, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.